everybody. This is Robert. Before I begin the story, I want you to hear from the person that the story's about. Let me go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Yeah, hello everybody. This is Elisha Langer Cubero and Robert Rosso gonna say my story.
Okay, so by the way, his nickname is Poppy. Since I have a hard time with pronouncing names, I'll probably refer to him as Poppy throughout. Okay, so here's the deal. Before I go into it, let me say this. This is his personal story about what happened to him here in the Western District of Arkansas. He is a federal pretrial detainee. He has pled guilty. He's accepted responsibility for his actions, and he's awaiting sentencing. The story is about what happened to him prior to the arrest, after the arrest, and most important, at the detention hearing that he had, which was in December of last year, December 11th of last year. And what happened was an actual agent took the stand and testified not truthfully, and as a result, he was not able to get out of the detention hearing, go into rehab, and lost custody of his daughter. Okay, so let me get into the story. On September the 18th, an informant working for the DEA or other agencies locally by the name of Corby entered the house of Poppy in a little small town called Decatur, Arkansas, and purchased 100 fentanyl pills for $1,000. A few days later, which was September the 26th, this is 2023, the same informant came back in, purchased an additional 100 pills of fentanyl, again for $1,000. At that point, apparently the informant leaves. There's agents waiting outside. It was a controlled buy, and a warrant is sought by Jared Rankin, who is a task force officer with the Drug Enforcement Administration. And he does have an affidavit that I'm staring at in front of me. I don't know how necessary this will be yet. Anyway, so here's what happens. A warrant is sought for Poppy's house and storage facility, both not in his name, both believed to be tied to him. As they're waiting for this warrant to be signed, there was a task force around, set up surveillance, and prior to getting the warrant signed, he was able to leave his house. So Poppy was able to get in a car, again, which was not registered to him, and leave. At approximately 2:46, agents with, and I'm going to go ahead and read their name because it's right here. At approximately 3:03 p.m., TFO agent Blaine Miller and Benton County Drug Unit Detective John Hottaway conducted a traffic stop on the vehicle that Poppy was driving. When they got out of the car and they went up to his door, they said they pulled him over because he had outstanding warrants for his arrest, which he did. However, he knew that there was a problem or an issue because the car was not registered in his name. When agent asked him to get out of his car, he went to go fasten his seatbelt, and a gun was promptly pulled to his head. At that time, his ex-wife, who was also in the vehicle, and their 4-month-old baby daughter, who was directly behind him, the wife was asked to get out of the car. As she did, she was in fear that the cops might shoot him in the head. So she took the baby out of the car, and officers took him into custody. I might add here that there was a discrepancy saying that he resisted arrest. He never did it. There was never no proof of that. Once in custody, they took him straight to the warehouse, which he promptly admitted that he had drugs in the warehouse. So the warrants were actually signed and being executed at that time, but he was cooperative at all time. And in the warehouse, they found approximately 20 fentanyl pills in the warehouse, 756 pills in the warehouse. From the warehouse, they then took him home, again where he was being cooperative, and he immediately told them where the money was, that's $7,000 in cash, 3,280 what? 3,280 dollars in cash that was DoorDash money from his job, and there was also a firearm involved, which he admitted to everything in the house. Everything totally cooperative. I need to stress that point. From that point, he then was taken to Fayetteville to the DEA headquarters in Fayetteville, and where he was questioned. They asked him to give over his phone. They had the phone. They asked him for the code, which he gave. Once they got into his phone, they then offered him a deal to confirm the addresses of people they believed to be a source or transactions or whatnot. He refused. At that point, they then tried to offer another deal in which they said if he would call a certain person, which they believed to be the source, and did a recording call, that they would let him go all the way. Let me back up. They said that they would let him go if he just confirmed. He didn't want to cooperate in that manner. They then again offered him a deal just if they did a recording. He did not. This is very important because at that point, if they would have let him go, then what I'm about to tell you going forward doesn't really make sense, okay? So I just want to make that clear. Also, they let him call his wife at the DEA station, okay? This will become relevant in a minute. On December 11th, 2023, Poppy goes in front of Judge Chrissy Comstock right here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, where I'm at. That's the Western District of Arkansas. The purpose of the detention hearing is to determine whether the judge is going to let you out pending prosecution or the outcome of your case. Now, what he had going for him at the time was a DHS worker, somebody who worked for the Department of Child Services, Emily Picasso, who went out of her way and got him a bed at a rehab facility in Fort Smith. Now, think about that. She didn't want to see him lose custody of his daughter. She knows he has an addiction problem, which, by the way, he will admit to you that he had a bad cocaine problem at the time, and that's full disclosure. The lady wanted him to get out. A DHS worker wanted him to get out so that he could not lose custody of his kid. Well, what happens then is they go in front of the in front of Magistrate Comstock, and they have a hearing to basically determine if he's a danger to the community or a danger to himself, whatever. The agent by the name of Robinson testified under oath, very important, testifies under oath that during the initial arrest of Poppy, while in his house, the wife told him that he was beating on her for 3 days, okay? Furthermore, the DEA agent Robinson testified that the wife said that she was going to put a restraining order on him, okay? She never did. And now, everything else is recorded in this case. I mean, they've got recording that's on him, they got recording, everything's being recorded, except for this little important part that would cause the magistrate to actually question whether she should let him out. She was trying to figure out whether she should do the right thing. On one hand, she's got a DHS worker right here saying, yeah, we got a bed space for him. Then she's got some agent on the stand saying, oh, well, he's a danger to the wife. He beat her for 3 days. Stop. Let me ask you guys, everybody, something right there. If he would have cooperated, he could have walked out the door that day. Was he still a danger to his wife? Were they so concerned about his wife at that point? The answer is no, they don't give a fuck. They don't care. So then she goes to stand because they're mad at him because he doesn't tell, because they're mad at him for whatever reason, they then make him into the monster that they testified to. Now, with no proof whatsoever. And I think Judge Magistrate Comstock, she questioned the proof. She had doubts in her mind whether they were telling the truth. But at the end of the day, she did not let him out, and he lost custody of his daughter, by the way. And again, for those of you that are like, okay, well, this is just a drug dealer, and he wasn't fathered here anyway, let me be clear. Rehabilitation begins at the moment of arrest. The moment of arrest, that's when rehabilitation can begin. If a judge or a magistrate lets you out during your detention hearing, you have a chance to prove that you can do it prior to going to court, and it looks better when you go to court to it. That's a fact. But most important, you won't lose custody of your daughter, and you can get some rehabilitation that might help you in the long run. He wasn't able to do that because a DEA agent lied. No, those are his words, and there's no proof to say that he is not telling the truth. Furthermore, the wife called his attorney and said that everything that agent said was a lie. So she was contradicting him. And I believe the attorney was even trying to postpone the detention and ask for an extension. Is that correct? On appeal, wants to appeal the issue based on not enough evidence, or that he was lying? Okay, I'm asking him, because I'm doing it because I don't want no words. And there was no evidence whatsoever that he ever beat his wife, and no video. Yeah, no video, no statement, no nothing. Now imagine that. Everything else was recorded except this very important thing that keeps him in custody, won't allow him to rehab, and makes him lose his daughter. So I'm going to go back. Story good? Everything's confirmed. Okay, now I'm going to make my all right, thank you. Now, this was important to me because it goes to a further point that I've been making. About what? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Let me back up a second. So there was an incident to where the informant in the case said that he had threatened, right, Corby? He said that he had shot somebody or threatened to shoot somebody. Okay, they couldn't bring the person forward that he ever allegedly threatened. Okay, so that's very important. They couldn't bring the person forward, and when questioned about him by the magistrate, he said exactly what? Right. He never shot anybody. This was under oath. That somebody stole from him, and he was trying to make an impression that this is what he would do, correct? And he actually asked for a gun residue test to prove that he didn't shoot nobody, and so forth. So he wanted to get that out there, too. And he's the one that just asked me to put in the gun part because he didn't want nobody coming back, So anyway, okay. So the bigger point for me is this, guys. It's the agent lying on the stand. If this agent did, in fact, lie on the stand, no, those are his words, not mine, okay? Okay. Those are his words, not mine. So I want to be clear, but I've read a lot of the reports on this case, and I can't get away from the agent on the stand because of that agent. Magistrate Comstock made a decision saying that this guy was a danger to society, basically, and they didn't let him out. What if that guy's lying? Where's the proof that this ever even happened? A guy lost his daughter, and I know people say, well, it doesn't matter because he's a drug dealer, fentanyl, some of the bread and water crowd will say that, but a DHS worker was willing to take a chance, let him out, put him in rehabilitation, and let him remain with custody of his kid. And there's a tragedy now, but the bigger point is this. When are DEA agents held to a higher standard or even an equal standard as a criminal defendant? If he was caught on stand perjuring himself in any way, he'd be facing new perjury charges. There was no evidence to suggest that. And I think that's really important because criminal justice reform can start with the judges. Get that guy back. I'm not saying for Magistrate Comstock to go back and get him on stand. I'm saying in the future, if it walks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, then you know what? It's a duck. And in this case, this guy's walking and quacking like a duck over and over again. No recording. Oh, we don't have recording. But however, if you cooperate, you can become Father of the Year. We're going to let you out. Oh, by the way, they even offered him to relocate him, by the way, if he would have told. Great Father of the Year if he would have told. But no. He didn't tell. We're going to keep him in prison. We're going to take away his kid, and you can't go to rehab. Straight bullshit. Straight up bullshit. And yes, I don't know every detail of every case. This one I know pretty well. The guy's passionate about it. He's not some wacko liar that's trying to make a point. He's really upset about the daughter. But it was just something, and I just really hope that judges and magistrates in the future, when you have people that are law enforcement agents taking the stand and it doesn't smell right, they should be held to a higher standard. You guys should have separate hearings. Forget about the detention hearing. Detention hearing's over. The guy's in jail. Why not go back and take a second look at it outside of the criminal defendant on the perjury charge alone and grill him, find out if he was lying, because 9 times out of 10 in something like this, and in this case in particular, I'm telling you, it doesn't add up. There's recordings everywhere, but of the wife saying that she was beat, and it's just not right. So I don't know. That's just something I wanted to throw out there. I thought about this a lot. Actually, tonight I got bombarded, and there's 2 other people that have pretty big cases that needed some advice or just somebody to look at it, take a second glance at it. And I kind of got bogged down, and then I wanted to get this done because I anticipate probably being in the hole tomorrow morning. So if I'm a little scrambled, rambled, or whatever, I apologize. If it's just boring to you, I didn't mean it. Again, to U.S. Magistrate Judge Chrissy Comstock, no offense. If it was any other magistrate, just because you knew my father and know the town in which I live, I'm not trying to point fingers. It's just the perfect example came up in your courtroom, and I really wish somebody would have or I wish in the future, not you, but other magistrates and judges would really take a second glance and dig deeper on these possible perjury charges. Again, walks like a duck, quacks like a duck. It's a duck. Take care.